Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and we are on time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Desmond A, and we're here to have a good time. I'm here to review some beats and we're here to have some fun. Guys, just kicking off straight off the top, guys, I want to thank you so much for checking out the Made in the Studio podcast, my episode with Juke Wong. Yes, indeed. I knew you guys was gonna love that episode when I was editing it. As soon as I booked it, man, I knew you guys was gonna love it. So you guys are running it up. You're commenting. You're getting a lot of gems, a lot of views, man. Right out the bat, you guys are really hitting that episode. So soak up all the gems, soak up all that game, and make sure you actually apply it. And once again, I want to thank Juke Wong for taking some time out of his busy day to join the Made in the Studio podcast, man. One thing I could say, one of the main things I pulled away from that interview is that Juke Wong has a insane work ethic, very talented, and definitely loves the craft. So that's definitely something I rock with, something I can relate to. So yes, guys, it was a very fire episode. Also, guys, just dropped a new video on the 10 things I learned from running this live beat review show here on YouTube. Lots of great gems for you guys to check out. My last video on my YouTube channel. So make sure you guys take a look at that and get some good gems, good information. Next show, well, there's not going to be a show next Friday. May not be one the Friday after that because moving around, you know, in the summertime and stuff, got to move around, make moves, make some plays. So you guys just be on the lookout for my YouTube community posts. You also, guys, you know that I keep you guys updated via email as well, and also in my Discord. So I'm always sure to keep you guys updated. Just want to let you guys know ahead of time. So if this is your first time here, welcome to the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Desmond A. You might be wondering, who am I? Why should I be getting this information from you? Who are you to be reviewing my beats? Well, like I said, my name is Desmond A. I've been producing music for over 12 years now. Have music playing on different shows like Bravo, E-Television, Sci-Fi, now most recently Discovery Plus and Tubi, I think. So yes, produce music there, produce for independent recording artists out here in Atlanta, produce for different artists all over the world, selling beats online, recorded, lots of different artists. So I have a lot of different perspective, and that's given me a lot of value, a lot of perspective, a lot of things that maybe some producers can't quite see. And I'm here to invest that value right back to you guys. So if you're rocking out with that, make sure you stay tuned right here to the Heat Check. So the way the Heat Check works is you go ahead and submit your beats at the end of the stream, and then I go ahead and play it the following Friday, and then the free form closes at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then from there, it's paid only. So while we're on stream, paid submission only. You can see the VIP skip the line, and also VIP skip the line in the chat. Another benefit of the VIP skip the line is that I play your whole beat. The free submissions get about a minute and a half. Paid gets the whole thing. And also, if you're a recording artist and you're watching the stream, you can get your music played on the paid submission, $10. So yes, we a couple weeks ago we had a very talented artist, man. He dropped in, paid his money, showed love, and he was in the market for some beats and stuff like that. So, you know, we never know who's gonna show up on the stream as far as artists goes, along with producers. All right. So yeah, guys, at Heat Check here, you know, it's kind of like a dojo. There's no snapping, there's no roasting, there's no tearing each other down. It's kind of like when you're in the gym with the martial artist, your sensei. They're gonna say, you know, put some weight behind that jab. You know, pop your hip when you do that knee strike. You know, when you do that elbow strike, you know, twist a little bit. You want to really put some force behind it. They give you real actionable steps to help you. They don't just tell you what to do, what not to do. They go ahead and give you actionable steps. So if you rock out with that, you like that, you know, make sure you stay tuned to the Heat Check, man. We are growing. This YouTube channel is growing. I don't know if I say my influence is growing, which is, you know, kind of cool. And yeah, everything is just looking up from here. So yeah, I'm very thankful to you guys. All right, so we got a full house in the building right now for the producer submissions. Let's go ahead and get here. Um, Also, guys, please make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com. Get free loop packs, free FL Studio patcher plugins, everything you need to help yourself in music production. Also, I just dropped a masterclass called From DMs to Dollars, giving you some of my sales strategies to sell beats to recording artists via Instagram DMs. So you make sure you want to check that out. Everything you need is at DesmondASounds.com. So once again, check that out. All right, all right. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, our first submission of the day is from TEICS. If Bugs Bunny rapped. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right, sorry about that abrupt ending. I didn't mean to do that, but shout out to you, TEICS. If Bugs Bunny rap, shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, the first thing that I noticed, first of all, let me start by saying this. Good beat overall, composition wise. You know, I'm hearing Cardi on this. I'm hearing maybe even Future, but I'm mostly hearing Cardi on a beat like this. Um, yeah, I'm hearing Cardi on this. Um, Overall, man, good composition, but the thing that jumps out to me is this big brick right here that we're seeing, and that's that everything is distorting. We don't have much headroom. If I even pull this down, okay, we have some dynamics going on, but let's always keep in mind that the producer, the engineer, let me just say the engineer, the person in the studio with the recording artist, they always have access to something like this, which is a clip gain. So if they need to make things louder, they'll just go ahead and make it louder. So we don't always have to try to blast everything into the red. I know stylistically, sometimes you guys want that crunch, you want that buzz that comes with the distortion, that comes with driving your sounds digitally. But there's other ways to accomplish that. Try using different plugins to give you some distortion, just because we're losing a lot of low end. Like, even if let me play it again. I'm just not sure how hard. That's not really gonna move any subs. Give me 1 second. Let me turn on my Atom speaker. All right. Let me see. Play it out on my speakers. Yeah, that wasn't moving my subs at all. It wasn't moving my subs at all. So, guys, please um, work on that. Please, let's not let the sounds get so harsh. So just pull things down. Give yourself some breathing room. Give yourself some headroom. And if you need some distortion in your sounds, just mess around with some different plugins. I like Little Radiator by Sound Toys. Um, if you guys use like Fab Filter stuff, they have some good saturators there too. Um, we should also have this. There should be some like good free saturators as well, if you want to get that type of distorted sound. So I just don't want you guys, because the reason why I say that is because I've been in the studio before, been in real big studios not too long ago, and then certain producers will play beats and those speakers aren't moving. Then another producer will play a beat and it just like, just like sucks up all the energy in the room because they're allowing the subwoofers to move. So that's why I kind of harp on things like that, because I don't want your music to get passed over by another producers whose stuff is just mixed better, and then the artist is not even giving it a chance. So that's why I kind of harp on that on my shows. All right, but shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, all right, all right. Moving forward, we have another submission by TEI CS. This is a Don Toliver type beat. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was TEICS with Don Toliver type beat. Shout out to you and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, that beat, much better mix-wise. I was hearing the kick hitting, I was hearing the subs of the bass moving. That's how we get sounds breathing and moving so they can punch the speakers the way they should be punched. Other than that, there's one thing I was hearing. There's one thing I was hearing in the beat and the melody. It sounds like you put some type of like either shaper box or gross beat, or yes, either shaper box or gross beat, and then the melody kind of goes a little off. And I just want to play that again, see if somebody can make something to that. Give me 1 second. I think somebody will still be able to make a song to that, even if they're singing to it. It's kind of risky. that little part, that part where it's kind of like putting an effect on the melody is kind of close to being off, but I think it still works in this instance. But just be careful of that when you're adding those effects, that it's not throwing things off. I think someone could still make something to that. But once again, just be weary of that. Um, I'm hearing Lil Baby on a beat like this. I'm hearing, I think Lil Baby could be on something like this. Who else? Hearing Future, but I'm mostly hearing Lil Baby. I know it says Don Tolliver type beat, but definitely hearing Baby. And guys, if you got all these beats, man, make sure you check out. I have a free guide on how to sell beats on Instagram. If you're not ready to purchase the masterclass, just check that out. It's in the description. So check out the guide, get that good game, and help you guys actually sell the beats. A lot of you guys got good beats, but you're just saving them on your hard drive. And you don't always have to aim for the top guy out there. There's always new people in the top person's entourage that want music. You know, got some gems from David S. Was a loop maker, producer, produced for Wayne and Rich the Kid on one of our Made in the Studio podcast episodes. And that's one thing he pointed out, is to always remember the 6 degrees of separation to the top person. Could be a couple levels down. You get some beats to that person. Then before you know it, the top person wants to rock out with you later. So yes, guys, get that good game, and get your beats out there. But shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Moving forward, we have Trep with Swerve. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Trep with Swerve. I believe previously Trep World. I guess Trep World is just going by Trep. I'll respect the name. I'll respect the name. All right. Now, Trep World. Good drum groove on that one. Good bounce to the drums. One thing I can say is, one, we need better sound selection. Those sounds kind of felt somewhat random. They didn't really kind of flow too well together. So one tip that I give a lot of you guys pretty much each and every show is to, listen to some of the producers that you really admire, some of those producers that you look up to, and listen critically. Listen as a student. Don't listen as a fan of the music. Listen as a student. Like there's a professor somewhere in your room telling you to listen to the sounds that are selected. Why is Southside picking those synths with that strings? Why is Hit Boy using that bell with those 808s? Why are certain things working together? And that's a way that you can kind of figure out how to select your sounds. Yes, sorry about that. That's a way that you can help yourself select your sounds. And let me see here. Okay, just making sure everything is loaded up here on the stream. Okay, so always make sure that you do this, so you, because as music producers, we could just be in awe of our favorite producers and just kind of, man, why is band so and so is so fire? Oh my gosh, one day I want to be as fire as them. But if we break things down to its parts, break things down to its pieces, we can help to reverse engineer what makes them so great. You know, there's an example of when I was an intern at a popular recording studio out here. This is like years ago, called Tree Sound Studios, and one of the other interns, I pulled up, I was looking at the big mixing console, and I was like, man, look at all this stuff. Like, one day we'll know how to figure it out. And then he pulled me aside and he said, look, man, this is just, I'm going to break this down. This is the high pass filter. This is the volume for the high pass. This is for the mids. You know what the mids are? This is the volume, just pulling it up and down. And then he showed me all the way down the mixing channel strip, and then he said, just look, it's all duplicated. That's all this is. A bunch of volume, a little compression, and that's all this is. So instead of being in awe of something, just breaking it down to its parts and its pieces, help things to be less intimidating. And that's another way that you can learn as a producer. Like, kind of like that is the way you can do things. Listen to Boy Wonder's drums. Listen to Zaytoven's keys and things like that. If we listen to some of Millie Beats stuff, we can tell he's influenced by a lot of West Coast stuff, and then we can hear week after week how he's picking pieces and then starting to make it his own. So in this music production journey, we're all students, and sometimes stuff just cooking up. We need to take a step back and break things down into its parts and its pieces. Then we can eventually put them together and make us much stronger producers. So yes, that is a gem for you, Trep World. Shout out to you, and thank you so much for submitting on the heat check. Oh, one more thing here, Trep World. I was hearing that your 808s, some of your 808s and bass were out of key. So I pulled up the sound shifter from Waves here. I was just going to show you. So I'm going to pitch your stuff all the way up 12 semitones, which is an octave. We're going to listen to the bass. Just listen to the bass. Out of key. So you see how much easier it is to identify when the bass is out of key whenever we use the sound shifter to pitch everything up an octave. And that's why I tell a lot of producers, I still do it to this day. I mean, I consider I have a pretty good I have a pretty good ear. And I still to this day, man, because those bass frequencies are just, it's difficult for the human ear to pick up on really low frequencies. Our ears are more so adapted to hear higher frequencies. So before you put your 808s down an octave where you want them to be, put them up, and you can identify and quickly like expose yourself to yourself when things are out of key. Sometimes I can even like start to get kind of cocky and like, oh yeah, my 808s are in key, and then I push it up an octave or 2 octaves, and I'm like, ooh, it's off by a half step. And we're never too good. We all can use these tactics to help us as producers. So that's another gem for you, Trep World. But shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the heat check. All right. Moving forward, we got another submission from Trep World. This one is called Pegasus. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Trap World.
All right, all right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Trep World, or Trep, excuse me, with Pegasus. Shout out to you, Trep, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Trep, um, I like the bouncy drums you had. I like the low 808 that went along with that. That was really good. Other than that, well, it's a couple things here. One, it's like I'm still hearing something with the sound selection. Like you had the pad going, and then you had the drums going, but they still didn't quite blend together. It almost felt like the sound was in slightly its own world, and then the drums was kind of in its own world, and they were almost together like this, but we want our music to be like this. We want it to blend together, but it felt like almost kind of together. And that's really going to come with time and practice. Just continuing to practice making your beats, collabing with other producers. But right now, I really feel like we got you in the gym. You know, we got you hitting the bench press. You know, we just need you to keep hitting the bench press so you can get a nice foundation of muscle. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like we're at. Of course, you should still work with other people, but I feel like we're at that point where we're just getting you stronger as a producer. But Trap, definitely do see you having a future, man. Just keep at it, keep practicing, keep making beats, and don't be afraid to remake a beat or two of a popular producer or a popular beat out there. Guys, I mentioned this on a few shows before. I've had Ben, a producer named Ben. He produced for like Big X, The Plug, Moneybag Yo, everybody like that. Had him on the Made in the Studio podcast. So make sure you check out Ben's episode if you have not seen that. And he mentioned that he will still, despite being a platinum producer to this day, remake a beat if he has beat blocks. So if he can do it, he got plaques on the wall. He works at a studio in Houston, Texas. If he's still doing that. He's making music, he's making moves, he's making plays. Then you could do it. I could do it. We all can do it to help us stay sharp. We're never bigger than the program. We're never bigger than the game. So I just say that to say that you can help yourself learn certain sound blending skills by taking the time to kind of finding a couple tracks out there and at least attempting to remake it. You might not get it totally, but you can start to pick up some of your weak points. One thing that I've learned in the past when I remade some beats is like using pre-delay on a sound. Like if I have a snare instead of a sometimes you can use a pre-delay to create a little bit of space between the actual sound and the reverb. Like so things like that I've learned from remaking beats. Like, oh, I never would have thought to do something like that. So that's just kind of something that I've learned, and it's helped me quite a bit. So yes, shout out to you. Also, there's like some volume balance thing that was going on when you added the that thing. It just felt like fatter and above, and just more another thing that felt disjointed from the music. So that is also another sound selection thing. I kind of want you to sort through your VSTs sort through some of the presets and find something that blends a bit better with that. And once again, that's going to come with time. And yes, another thing I wrote down here for you, Trep, was structure. The structure wasn't like off, like I could tell, but it's just that pad going the entire time kind of felt like, I kind of wanted a little bit of a break. Maybe throw a low pass filter on there, maybe mute it for 4 bars or something like that, just to give us a little bit of a break so we don't have the pad going the entire time. It kind of felt like there was like highs and lows, highs and lows. It felt kind of like straight through. So be on the lookout for that. Try to look up some different effects out here on YouTube, different plugins, and see what you could use to help to break up some of that repetitiveness. But shout out to you, Trep. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Moving forward, we have Phoenix Beats with Lil Baby, Young Thug Type Beat 2026. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. Guys, once again, make sure you check out the links in the description. If you guys need more help with music production, make sure you book a one-on-one coaching call with me. I'll jump on Zoom. We'll go ahead and pull up your DAW, go through a bunch of different stuff. I'll give you some game on beats, mixing, content, anything you need. That's in the link in the description. Book a one-on-one coaching call, and I'll be glad to help save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches too. So make sure you check that out. All right, Phoenix Beats here, Lil Baby, Young Thug Type Beat. I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
You got this, Phoenix. You got this, Phoenix. You got this, Phoenix.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Phoenix Beats with Lil Baby, Young Thug Type Beat. Shout out to you, Phoenix Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Phoenix Beats, that beat was interesting. That beat, was that beat on the 4/4 time signature? Am I just tripping? I might be tripping. It sounds like it might have been a different time signature that you used, but regardless, that beat is just gonna require a certain type of flow, a certain type of pocket. The first person I was rapping as was like maybe Mystical, but Mystical, he's not free. And the next person I was thinking of was Yella Beezy. I was hearing Yella Beezy's voice on this beat. I think someone like him could definitely catch the flow. It's just a bit challenging. It's just a challenging groove to catch, you know. You maybe even would have to be in the studio. No, I think an artist would catch it. Like this is the flow that I had in my head. I was thinking of Yella Beezy, so let's play the beat. I'll just mumble to it. So you get here's kind of an interesting pocket. Oh, sorry about that. I hope you guys could hear me when I did that little rap thing. Dang. I hope you guys heard me. Did you guys hear me? Oh crap. Ah, y'all didn't hear me. That sucks. But yeah, it sounds like I was just rapping like hopefully y'all heard that. Oh well. Yeah. So it's just gonna be an interesting pocket for a rapper to catch. So somebody's gonna absolutely love it, and some people are just not gonna understand it. So that's one of them things. That's one of those type of grooves. That's one of them type of pockets that's gonna help you stand out. You know, like Jetson made another one, the producer who did a lot of the baby's early stuff, like Suge. You know, people didn't understand him. He said he had issues selling beats just by selling beats, but he found the right artist to fit his pocket, fit his sound, that stripped down sound that he has. So I think something like this could definitely lead to something. So Phoenix, I want you to keep working on developing the sound, getting it better and better, because we never know what it could grow into and things like that. This is like a way for you to really have your own unique niche, your own unique pocket in the music production world, is by having something that really helps to identify you. You know, outside of your direct brand is your music. Something about your music brings something different to the game. As far as constructive feedback, one thing is, it's like I was hearing something with the kick and the bass. Something about it just felt like, I don't know, something about it almost felt like you maybe had some type of, maybe like a plug-in on there that was introducing some phasing. I'm not quite sure what that was. Maybe I'm tripping, but it just sounded like there was something that was messing with the dimension of the bass. So if you maybe have a new plugin on there, something like that, I would definitely be on the lookout for that. Also that wah, 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 that sound that you had in there, that was there just one too many times. Let's go ahead and watch that. That could just be a little too much, and I wouldn't want anything to get in the way of the recording artist. So that little guitar wah, 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 that you had that was panned, you know, take that out every so often so it's not so repetitive. Also, I kind of want, I just want a little bit of clarity amongst the sounds. Um, it wasn't bad at all. I just want just a little bit more separation. So I'm not sure if you've checked out my free EQ class that I made on my YouTube channel. Just take a look at that. Take a look at my free EQ class whenever you have a moment. It's just going to help you learn some things as far as creating separation amongst sounds. So that way you just have more, things are more separated. And as things are separated, it makes this nice, impactful picture. So I just want the things to just impact a bit more. Again, it wasn't like muddy or blurry to me. I just was thinking about creating just a bit more separation. So shout out to you. Shout out to you, Phoenix Beats. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Clever Lion in the building. Yeah, long time no see, man. Yes, indeed. Life has been great, man. Clever Lion, man. You know, you want to submit to the heat check, you know, if you can go ahead and hit that VIP, be glad to check out anything you've been working on. And Clever Lion, I hope you've checked out my most recent Made in the Studio podcast episode, dropped a couple of days ago with Juke Wong. He helped to co-produce Pushin' P by Gunna, and he also helped to produce Plutowski by Future, and a bunch of other big songs he helped to co-produce. So if you check out that new podcast episode with Juke Wong as well, get you some good game while you out there cooking up. Oh, okay, okay. So clever lion is out there moving and grooving. You know, that's the thing with my podcast is I make sure the audio is super crisp because I know you guys have a lot going on, and I want to make sure that if you're on the bus, if you're on your way to work, if you're at the gym, that the sound is crystal clear, nice and pleasing to the ears. That's a big thing because I know sometimes you guys use your ear pods and stuff. So always, no matter what, the podcast audio quality it's gonna be dope. So yes. So shout out to you, Clever Lion Man. A lot is changing. I hopefully for the better. Hopefully not for the worse. You know, but no matter what, just keep grinding, man. All right, moving forward, we have Apollo Beats with True. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Apollo Beats with a True. Shout out to you, Apollo Beats. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Apollo Beats. Let me ask you this, Apollo Beats. Did you make that beat on some type of hardware, some type of drum machine, or you ran it through something that has some type of analog on it? Just I can hear a little extra something in there that makes me think that this is an MPC. What are you using? So let me know in the comments whenever you get a chance to watch the stream. So yeah, Apollo Beats, that was a good beat. I could hear an artist rapping on it. I could hear like an East Coast rapper just kind of, freestyling, getting their thoughts out. This beat kind of has the structure for someone to just freestyle and go off on a number of different topics, just spitting things that are on their mind. I can't really hear this was like a hook and a singing this doesn't really seem like this really calls for something like that. This is just like kind of just a nice fire beat. Kind of has throwback vibes to it. Um, I'm also hearing like maybe like I thought of like Adult Swim. If you guys remember that back in the day, Adult Swim. So like maybe if you get with an independent recording artist, you guys make a song to this. Don't be afraid to pitch this to different people. You never know. One of my one of my previous guests on the Made in Studio podcast, OG the Three, he produced for like everybody in the game. He plays the keys, John Legend, Yo Gotti, everybody. He mentioned how he got a sync placement from just a random older song that he produced for an artist. The music supervisor was just looking for something, a certain theme. They found it and got in contact with them, and then that turned into something. So, guys, some people want sync through instrumentals, but if you get with the recording artist and you guys just make songs and the songs have certain themes, then you never know who might be looking for it. You can either just keep releasing it and they can find you, or you can find them and say, hey, this is what we got. let us know if you want to do something with it, because this definitely does have that kind of vibe. I could hear that getting on sync. I like the structure of the beat. If you wanted to, this is not like a requirement, something that you have to do. Um, a lot of you guys know I'm a big fan of just adding, low pass filters here and there. That's just a good way to break up the beat. Um, let's play from the top. Like, let's just have some fun. You can even put low pass filters, like not only in like the intro and outro and stuff, but if there's like a little part between the verse and the hook, adding a little low pass filter is also another good way to just create separation between the parts of the beat, aka the song. So that's just little tips and tricks there. But yeah, Apollo, man, good beat. Get that to some recording artists. Hop on Instagram, hit them up. And guys, once again, my free guide, how to sell beats on Instagram, is in the description. Check that out. Get some gems that I've used. I honestly didn't want to give out that information, but here we are. So go ahead and check out that guide in the description so you can get in contact with these artists and make some songs. You guys just have a bunch of beats on your computer. You need to get them out, get them to some artists. And I created a guide on that, so check that out. All right, moving forward, another submission here from Apollo Beats. This one is called Frankie Lyman Sample. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
Love is a losing game, and love can be a shame. I know I'm a fool, you see. All that foolish me, tell me
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Apollo Beats with Frankie Lyman Sample. Shout out to you, Apollo Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Apollo Beats, that type of beat is really gonna work well with like underground, independent, more so backpacker type of recording artists. Um, my mind went to someone like, this kind of doesn't make sense, but my mind went to someone like Jay Electronica's voice rapping on top of this. This is a bit happier than what Jay Electronica would normally rap on, but I'm thinking like, I don't want to say in that vein, but it's just like just independent recording artists who have an affinity for like the golden era of hip hop. I can see them really gravitating towards something like this. So Apollo Beats, oh man, once again, you have your own sound. It's not something that everybody can find easily. So if you find an artist who wants your stuff, they're gonna want to lock in. They're gonna want to like have like 5 beats from you, 7 beats from you. Um, a month or so ago, I sold a pack of like 2 beats to a recording artist, and because they like my sound so much, so I'm seeing the same thing for you, Apollo. It's like people gonna say, "Oh, I like this person's sound. I want more than one from you because this is something that's I can't get anywhere else." So, Apollo, please check out my free guide in the description for it's just as free Instagram beat selling guide, something like that. It's gonna help you network as well. So check that out. Get that good game and build a connection with some artists. I don't know if you have your own artists, anything like that, but regardless, that guide is going to help you out. As far as constructive feedback, the only thing I think of is that that part that part might get in the way of the recording artist rapping. So I'm a big fan of not totally committing to a filter. So what do I mean by that? So if we have the beat going, let's see. If we have the beat going, it sounds like you're using hardware, Apollo, but regardless, you should still be able to do this. Uh, uh, we're gonna find the parametric EQ. It's not really making sense because we got so many other sounds in there. I wouldn't want. I'm not gonna ask for your for your track outs. Let's see if I can use EQ. Let's see if I can use a mid side EQ to just get the mid. All right, we're gonna open up this. Around the vocals are gonna be around here, and let's do that. Let's see. See, that's right there where the rapper's voice is gonna be, and then the sample's kind of screaming at us. So let's just dial back a little bit. We're gonna pull this down. I haven't used EQ in forever, so pardon me, guys. All right, let's pull this down. That's the side. That's the mid. All right, there we go. And, all right. Let's see if we pull this down. Say pull that part up. Let's see. Okay, so I'm kind of sacrificing a lot just to make that point sonically. So, I just wanted to point out the fact that I could take out some of the mid of that and then make some space. But as I was doing it, it was taking off some of those highs on it. And I know you probably wouldn't want that. So if you could just get there. Okay, Clever Line. Shout out to you. Let me go ahead and get you VIP skip the line. Shout out to you, Clever Line, with the VIP skip the line. Let me go ahead and hit you with the
New VIP.
All right, there we go. So as I'm pulling up Clever Line's submission, I'm going to continue to give you some feedback, Apollo. Yeah, so the main thing is just if you can get in there for the that part, just put on a low pass filter and you're going to be able to just create more space, because the thing is, as producers, we don't want to just cause anything to make the artist have to fight for something, fight for space, because unfortunately I've seen firsthand a few times recording artists just like not even give a beat a chance. I don't know what it is. So yeah. The thing is, especially a beat like that, more than likely we're gonna have artists freestyling, artists in the studio, doing their thing. And if they're freestyling or doing their thing, they don't want anything getting in the way. So we just need to create a little more space. But other than that, you're good to go. So shout out to you. Shout out to you, Apollo Beats. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, I got you all pulled up here now. All right. Bam, there we go. And we're going to do Clever Lion. All right, let's get you there. VIP. All right. All right, gotta put the V on VIP. Gotta put some respect on your name. All right, VIP. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new VIP skip the line, Clever Lion with UFO Until Forever Is Ours. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Sorry about that. Let's start from the top. all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clever Lion with UFO and
New VIP.
New VIP. So shout out to you, Clever Lion. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Clever Lion, I can say that I'm noticing more consistency. I believe in some of your previous submissions, I made a comment of things kind of feeling disjointed, and sometimes the structure of your stuff would go from kind of like one energy to another energy to another energy. But this is just much more well structured. On top of that, the sound selection is cohesive. Everything blends together. Everything feels like it has the same color to it or complementary colors to it. And that's a point that not it takes a while for producers to get to. So let me shout you out for that, is getting the colors together. That being said, there's something in the melody here, and as soon as I heard this beat, let's just play it. It's like very hard for me to catch, to even create like a vocal melody to it. Let's see. It's like something with the chords, right? So, Clever Lion, I feel like we're like 95% of the way there, but it's just, there's something in that. I don't know if it's that lead synth or just the chord progression itself. Something there, it's like, it's almost like it's not coming all the way together. So if I can get for you, Clever Lion, whenever you open up your DAW, get back to whatever piano roll you're using, and like, you can even just start by muting different things. So just keep the drums, then unmute the main chorus, and then sit up there and listen. And can I come up with the melody? Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, right there. Then you might even have to move one of the notes. Is it maybe the third in the chord? Like, what is it? Is it something? I think to me, it's almost like something that simple. Okay, it's 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, I need to move the third down one. And you play it back. You're like, that's it. You know, it's almost like something that's that simple. But I'm not quite sure what it is. But if you open up your DAW, piano roll, start with just playing the drums, unmute one sound, sing to it, rap to it, unmute the next sound, sing to it, rap to it, unmute the next sound, and see, as you're doing that, what's that thing that runs you into a wall where you go, ooh, that's it. That's keeping me from being able to hum a full melody to it. I need to change that, then I can unmute everything. Or maybe if I need to change one thing melodically to get everything to flow with the main chord structure. So it's just one thing there. Once you get that, I think you'll be pretty much all good to go. You know, I like the way you created contrast with the bass. It's like you went from like that. I really like that. Then the bass comes out wider, which is really good for creating feeling. And yeah, so Clever Lion, get into your DAW, look at that piano roll, and it's just one little thing. Not sure what, but one little thing melodically. Once you fix it, you'll be good to go. Okay. Shout out to you, Clever Lion. Shout out to you. All right. Moving forward, second submission today of Clever Lion. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, you know this is a
New VIP.
new VIP. Skip the line. All right. This is called Shadow Fall by Clever Lion. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Hey yo, Clever, show me what you just made.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the second VIP submission of the day by Clever Lion. That one was called Shadow Falls. Shout out to you, Clever Lion. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Clever Lion's drums had a lot of good energy. I liked the overall energy of the beat. It almost felt like a whimsical trap beat. Something I just thought of on the fly. It had like this whimsical kind of quirky kind of vibe to it, but it still had the hard drums to it. That being said, definitely appreciate you for, stepping out the box, trying something different. The first thing I noticed was in the intro, you had that super low bass.
Hey, yo,
And that's sometimes cool to create a certain type of tension. Let me play it. Sometimes it's cool to create a certain type of tension with those super, super, super low bass notes, but it felt like the payoff didn't really stick. It's like it created a certain type of tension, but then when the beat actually hit, it's almost like I felt relief in a good way, but it's almost like now I'm like, did I really need that real low bass part? Like, what did that really add? It didn't really add something in connection to the rest of the beat. It sounded like it was about to do it. It was on the way to doing it, but just after the payoff, I was like, I didn't really need that super low bass part. And then you had the super low bass part on like this turnaround. That wasn't really necessary. I know what you were doing, but it's like it just didn't really need to be there. We could just kick it off with a different intro and then just get straight to it. See, the beat just jumps off, and that bass part wasn't really needed. Let me check my notes. Other than that, like how we started progressing here. It's like that part is interesting, but it's not. If this is going to a recording artist, that part is not really necessary. This is the that's all you need right there, Clever. That's all you need right there, and then we could just do something real subtle for the separation between the beat, the main verse, and the hook. Just real subtle. We don't have to go on to this journey for a chord, moving the chord progression and adding the horns and adding more. I can definitely see why you're doing that. I used to do certain things like that, and the reason I did that was prior to me actually being able to be in the studio with a recording artist. And that really showed me how us as producers, we kind of tend to do a little bit too much when we're cooking up beats by ourselves. As you can see, that main part of the beat that I keep playing, that's what's going to have people in the studio, the engineer rolling back like, you going to pull this up on Pro Tools? You know what I mean? That's what's going to do. And the hook's still sonic. Still kind of working on my shit. This tuba, let's see. It's really that whole change part, Clever. We just Even that dun, 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 we don't need that. This is I'm telling you, Clever, this is the whole beat. Like this is the whole beat. See, that part is not necessary. This part. Yeah. 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 That's it. That's the main part. So Clever. I'm going to task. Oh, we got another VIP skip the line. Shout out to you, Neighborhood Music. Definitely appreciate that. Get right to you as soon as I'm done with this review with Clever Line. But yeah, Clever Line, like I was saying, man, that part I keep nodding my head to. So this is what I want you to do, Clever Line. Go back into your DAW, just cut out all that other stuff, and then just get that main part that I keep rapping over to. Just get that main part, and then just cut out everything else. Get that main part, sit in your DAW, and just let it loop. Just listen to it, and then copy it, and then mute the drums, and then just listen to the melody part, and then listen to how it creates tension, and then gets back into the main drum part. So Clever Line, we're really learning less is more, but you nailed a chunk of this beat, that one section. That's what's going to get an artist to, that's what's going to get the engineer to use their periphery and say, you want me to load it up? So, yes, Clever Line, less is more. That part right there, just keep building on it, freestyling it. You don't need that tuba part. You don't need the chord change part later as it keeps going. Less is more. Super stupid simple is what you're going to learn in this process, especially selling beats to recording artists. Like, man, I really felt like adding that part. You know, nope. You do not need it. But yeah, Clever Line, please heed this advice. Make those changes. And I'm telling you, you're going to be like, man, this is a fire beat. You might feel uncomfortable because it's going to feel empty at certain parts. You're going to be like, ooh, this feels a bit empty. And that's because the last instrument is the human voice. That's key. The last instrument is the human voice. All right? So Clever Line, strip it away. And then work on that main part. So shout out to you, Clever Line. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another VIP skip the line. Let me go ahead and make more room here for our next submission. All right. As I get that downloaded and loaded up here, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to go to DesmondASounds.com to get free FL Studio Patcher plugins, free loops, free guides. Got a guide on selling beats on Instagram. My FL Studio Patcher plugin called Super Clipper is superior to the Soft Clipper. And if Image Line was here, I would tell them to their face that my Super Clipper is superior. It is an FL Studio Patcher plugin. So it's a plugin that is comprised of stock plugins by FL Studio with my own unique cover and functionality. So make sure you guys check that out. And guys, if you want more help, don't forget you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me on Zoom. So you can go ahead and get that. That is in the link below, the link in the description, also in the chat. I'll be glad to hop on Zoom, go over different beats, any type of content strategies you need help with. You work with artists in person, you need some advice. It's not too much I haven't seen, guys. So I'll be glad to help you guys out with that. All right. So got everything pulled up here for our new VIP Skip the Line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Neighborhood Music.
New VIP.
New VIP Skip the Line. Neighborhood Music with Keenan and Kel. All right, you're welcome, Clever Lion. You are welcome. All right, once again, neighborhood music, Keenan and Kel. VIP skip the line. Let's get into it.
Everybody out there, go run and tell your homeboys and homegirls it's time for Keenan and Kel.
Attention passengers, the next eastbound train is arriving.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Neighborhood Music with Keenan and Kel. Shout out to you, Neighborhood Music, and thank you so much for your submission, VIP submission, right here on the Heat Check. Now, Neighborhood Music, man, I haven't heard that Keenan and Kel intro since I was a kid, man. I almost forgot that show existed. So, shout out to you for bringing back some old school memories, some nostalgia from my childhood. But yeah, the beat overall definitely had a good bounce. It had a good vibe. It just put me more in like a West Coast kind of vibe, West Coast kind of energy. You know, had real good bounce. I like the drums, I like the kick, the snare, the clap, everything you had going on with that bounce energy wise. I also like the main melody, the piano that you had going on. That being said, a couple things going on there. One, that Lil Jon what that was like a little too aggressive for the vibe that we had in this beat, and it was not only aggressive, it's like it's real present. So it's real upfront from such a smooth, cool vibe that we got going on, cool West Coast vibe going on. In my view, I think that it needs to just be totally muted. We don't need that crunk get buck energy on a nice, cool, chill vibe. You know, this kind of gas that, you know, you in LA or, you know, you're on one of the beaches, you're at Newport Beach or something like that. You're looking at the ladies, the sand, you're just having a good time. And, you know, and that what just kind of seems like, okay, the energy is not totally blended. So I think we need, you could pull it back and add a reverb and delay, but I think we need to just go ahead and just totally mute that and let the rest of the music fit that vibe that you have going on already. Another thing is you have that electric piano going do 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 do. That felt a little bit on top of the music. If we can just pull that down, blend it down a little more. You also have it panned, so the panning is going to allow our ears to just hear it more presently because there's really nothing in the way. So you can just pull down that electric piano part a bit, pull it down. It should just fit inside the music a little bit more because right now it just kind of feels like it's slightly on top. So we need to pull it down, just let it blend a little bit more. I want to say we could possibly add a little bit of reverb to it, but if you're going to add reverb to it, let the reverb be for space and let it not be heard too much. So it might just be like a short reverb that's just creating space for that electric piano to just kind of sink in with the rest of the music a bit more. Yeah, kind of experiment with that. You can pull down the volume, possibly add a reverb to create space, maybe blend to taste, just a little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay. Just feel it. Don't let the reverb and delay be audible. No, we just have a little bit of reverb, a little bit delay, have it blend into the electric piano, and then when you mute the reverb and delay, you're gonna notice a difference. The electric piano is gonna stick out again. When you add it back, it's gonna blend, but it may not be that obvious to the average listener right out the gate. So the muting of the reverb and delay is gonna really make it pop back out. We want it to blend in. Also, the piano that you had going on, I'm really feeling it. You know, I almost want to hear more of the hammering of that piano. You know, I don't know if it's just the piano VST that you use just naturally had that sound, or if you're using some type of compressor to kind of control it. You know, if we could possibly do something, I'm not sure what VST you're using, just to hear more of that hammering of the piano. More of that hammering of the piano is just going to create that nice, again, it's going to create like a groove with the drums and just make the piano more active, the piano more dynamic, to add to the sound, that the vibe that you got going on. Because you got these nice little, you know, I hear the strings you got going on. So we just want to bring all the color together. So we just want to blend everything together for this nice picture. You got all the elements there, but we just need to kind of blend everything together. Then we'll be all good to go. So shout out to you, Neighborhood Music. Shout out to you. And thank you so much for your submission. All right. We got another submission here from Neighborhood Music. This one is called Miles. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. This is Neighborhood Music VIP. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Attention passengers, the next eastbound train is arriving.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Neighborhood Music with Miles. Shout out to you, Neighborhood Music. Thank you so much for your VIP submission. Skip the line. You are welcome, Neighborhood Music. You're very welcome. Now, Neighborhood Music on this beat. Good vibes, man. I was thinking of like Section 80 Kendrick. I was hearing J Rock's voice on this. Definitely has that aesthetic, that texture of that era, and I could definitely hear an artist from that area liking something like this because it has that vibe, it has that energy. That being said, so good beat. I could hear someone, really pouring their heart out on a track like this. I could hear a real passionate, soulful singer getting on the hook and really, adding to the story that the recording artist, the rapper, is going to tell on it. One thing that I was hearing, everything sounded good, but one thing I was hearing is like the kick had a nice, good snap to it. I wasn't really hearing the body of the kick, like the under part, the real punch that's really going to hit the speaker. And there's two things I'm thinking that could be causing that. One, I don't think you're using any type of limiter just off the bat, but there could just be some issues with headroom, allowing the kick to breathe. So it could be the piano was loud and it's taking up some of that sonic space. I think that could be it. We might need to pull down a couple elements just to allow the body of the kick to shine. If you do that and the kick is not really shining, it could just be that we need to do something like with the EQ. And I talk about this all the time. And this is opening like a light pocket for that kick, to the body of the kick to come in. So what you would do is just a little bit of sweeping. So we would do something like, we would listen to it and say, okay, what's getting in the way of the lower mids of that kick that's not allowing it to punch through? If it's, you have a decent amount of headroom in your mixer, then you're fine. If you're struggling for headroom in the mixer, then we might need to pull down a couple elements just to allow the body of the kick to punch through. If your headroom is fine, when you look at your meters, everything is good, you're not struggling for headroom, then we could do something like, okay, the piano is in the way of the body of the kick. You can do this little sweeping trick that I like to do, is where I'll bury what I want to shine through. So I'll just come through, cover it up by pushing, and then I'll ease down. And sometimes the easing down it's so slight. You don't have to do these big cuts that some people do. I see them on their streams and stuff. But from a person who's worked at recording studios, who knows certain things, I know that you don't need to be doing these giant cuts, sucking out all the body of some of your sounds. We just need to open up a little pocket, a little space for the body of the kick to shine through. So if it's the piano that's in the way, we just, okay, I'm going to cover up the kick a little bit more. Let me see if I can get the kick to disappear a little bit more. Okay, the body of the kick is gone. Let me pull this down a little bit. Now it's breathing. Now it's breathing. Now I can hear it punching through. Now it has space to hit the speakers the way it needs to hit. And always do this. Something one of my mentors taught me is to always bypass and unbypass and see, does it sound better or does it just sound different? Does it sound better or does it just sound different? You can even cover your eyes. Just click on, off, on, off, on, off. Does it sound better now? Now? When does it sound better? Because sometimes we could trick ourselves by mixing with our eyes. We're all susceptible to do it. Even very popular engineers out there will say they change something on a plugin that's not even activated. So that's just a trick. I just want that kick to shine through and punch through a little bit harder. Okay, you think it's your piano. Okay, neighborhood. Okay, Clever Line, you did another VIP, Clever Line? Let me see. Okay, perfect, Clever Line. You got another VIP, skip the line. Shout out to you. All right, but let me complete this with neighborhood music. Let me check my notes. Also, neighborhood music. One thing I was hearing in this beat, good beat, but I was thinking about, could we add like a lead, like a lead synth to it to really tie in that West Coast sound? Let me play it. Especially when we get to like the hook, like I said, it has that Kendrick Section 80 vibe. We can add in like a lead synth or a string, a high string, to really just tie it together. Especially if we have a soul singer on the hook. You can have like when the West Coast synth. Don't have the West Coast synth. Don't have it doing too much. Just you can even pan it left, hard left, not hard left, but pan it left so it's not in the way of the singer. You know what I mean? A high synth or a high string. I think that'll really tie in the emotion on that beat. Okay. All right. Perfect. So yeah, neighborhood music. Shout out to you. Appreciate the VIP Skip the Line, man. You got some good stuff, and I definitely want you to link up with a recording artist, specifically a recording artist on the West Coast, man. You got something, just reach out to them. Have my free guide in the description on how to sell beats on Instagram, but it helps you network and everything like that. So shout out to you, neighborhood music. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed, Clever Line. Beats with sax, man, we don't get that too often. It takes courage to do. It's off the beaten path, but when you nail it, you nail it. And neighborhood music definitely nailed it. But neighborhood music, I want to hear like J-Rock on that, or the next J-Rock. Who's gonna be the next J-Rock? You could be the one who links up with that individual and brings them to the game. But yeah, you definitely need your own artists. Neighborhood music. So shout out to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have Clever Line in the building with another
New VIP.
Skip the Line, Clever Line. We have submission here. We have Burnout and we have Midnight. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play this VIP submission by Clever Line called Burnout. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Hey yo, Clever, show me what you just made.
right, all right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clever Line with his second VIP Skip the Line. So shout out to you, Clever Line. Thank you so much for your submissions. Now, Clever Line. This beat Burnout here. I know what you were aiming for. You were aiming for that Shawty Red, Lex Luger kind of vibe, that era of music. Now, one thing, the first thing that stood out to me, Clever Line, was the chord changes didn't quite land. So you had those two chords, then we shifted to the other two chords, and those chords were a little too disjointed. You know, people like Shawty Red, people like Lex Luger, they would do those chord changes, and they would play off of each other, but there was a certain type of flow that happened with the contrast. And with this chord change, it felt disconnected. These chords felt disconnected from these chords and didn't create that musical contrast that we really wanted. So what I would say is, Clever Line, like, try to, because sometimes we will use our memory to try to create these type of nostalgic vibes and nostalgic tracks. So if I can get for you to listen to those, what was a good one? Like Trap or Die by Young Jeezy, produced by Shawty Red, like something like that. You could listen to those chords and then you could tell yourself, okay, why do I like this? Okay, it's creating a change, but I'm hearing a connection between those first set of chords, the other set of chords, and it's not disconnected. So how is he doing that? So once you're able to answer that question, then it's going to help you create that flow much easier. Also, as the beat went on, it just felt like a lot of stuff going on, like in the low mid range with all the instruments that you had going on. So it's like a lack of clarity. It felt really cluttered. I know you were going for like some type of aggressive energy, but the aggressive energy just felt a little too cluttered. There was no real space. It felt like so much was bunched in, and the fact that everything was bunched in, it didn't really feel musical. It felt uncomfortable. It didn't create a type of aggression, musical aggression, and more so created a type of busy discomfort. And it's an art to doing that. It's an art to creating that type of intentional discomfort. And it was off, and I think that was also driven by or assisted by those chord changes that you had there. Other than that, the drums were cool. We really could have had that signature Shawty Red, Lex Luger snare in there if you wanted to go all the way nostalgic. But overall, I'm just like, it feels like I want you to pull up like 3 of those Shawty Red, D Rich, Lex Luger type beats and like listen critically to them, like really listen and see how few sounds that they're actually using to create that type of musical artistic tension. So yeah, you're welcome, Clever Line. Yeah, it can be, but just give it time. Just keep practicing it and try not to just rely on your memory, and try to even pull up a couple and be like, oh, that's what they did. Because sometimes we can think that they did something and we just kind of misremember. It can have us like miss the target. So shout out to you though, Clever Line. Shout out to you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another submission here from Clever Line. This one is called Midnight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
Hey yo, Clever, show me what you just made.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was Clever Line with another VIP Skip the Line. Clever Line with Midnight. All right, all right, all right. Now, Clever Line. See, that style, you got, I instantly knew what that was, and you got much closer to that sound. You had that 3-6 Mafia sound. I can even hear someone like modern rappers like Duke Deuce getting on something like that. You know, Duke Deuce, he's always juking, doing this juking dance. I wish I knew how to do it. I'm moving my legs, so maybe I know how. Somebody tell Duke Deuce to show me how to do the juking dance, so I'll get it one day. So yeah, I can hear Duke Deuce on something like that. One thing that I'm hearing, Clever Line, it's like a couple habits that I'm picking up on. So one is with your bass notes. I notice sometimes when you're going on the low notes, try to experiment with pushing it up an octave. You're going really low. So let me show you what I mean. That one. That one. So just experiment instead of going really, really low with the bass. Just push it up an octave. Doom, 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 doo, 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 doo. Just experiment with that. See if that feels right. If it doesn't, push it back low. But experiment with when you're doing something and you feel like you're about to get it super, super low as far as the bass goes. Experiment with pushing it up an octave and see if it doesn't create like this kind of cool feel with it. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, go back. Another thing that I was hearing is the pizzicato. Oh, thank you so much, Noir Beats. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, it was a great interview. Me and Juke Wong, powerful producer, a lot of good game, guys. Make sure you check out that Made in the Studio podcast episode on the podcast tab. Myself and Juke Wong, lots of good game. Check that out. So, Clever Line, back to your review here. Another thing I was hearing is the pizzicato that you're adding. Where was that? That pizzicato, honestly, it feels like that could actually be like the outro as the beat is going off. And that sound we didn't really need. So this beat can be, once again, more stripped down than you think. So you can put that pizzicato at the end and have that as the outro. Once again, you could just totally mute that. And yeah, you'd be surprised. Just start freestyling out loud as if you were Juicy J or DJ Paul or Duke Deuce. And then as you're doing it, you'll notice that, you don't need as many sounds as you thought you did. And you don't need to keep going and adding the pizzicato and adding the other sounds. It's a thing, I used to do that myself as well. Keep adding sounds just because it seems like what we should do, It seems like we should fill up that space. But once again, it wasn't until I worked with actual recording artists in the studio that I saw firsthand how borderline almost empty certain beats could actually be. I'm like, wow, you want to record now? I've been shocked quite a few times. So yes, just be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's it. That beat got potential. So just continue to work on that, tweak that one, put that one in the stash. And then, before you know it, you got yourself a Duke Deuce placement. All right. So once again, Clever Line, thank you so much for your submission. Thank you so much for that.
New VIP.
2 VIPs in one day. Clever Line is looking to get that good game. So guys, once again, if you guys want some good game, you need some more in-depth help, make sure you check out the one-on-one coaching session that I'm still offering for the time being in the description. Go ahead and click it. book some time with me. We can jump into your DAW, check out your beats. I could see what's going on, help fix certain things, and save you guys time, save you guys money. You know, time most importantly, because you can't get time back. So, I can help you guys out, fix certain things, so you don't continue those habits. So, shout out to you. Shout out to everyone who submitted. You are welcome, Clever Line. You are welcome. So, yeah, guys, we had quite a few VIP skip the lines. I know some of our free submitters are like, man, when are you going to get to me? Hey, man. Hey, man. Them VIP skip the lines, man. This how we do it, man. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Fireboy 37 and J-Way with Decay Jerk. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right.
J-Way is the truth.
Hey, yo, Fire, what's your mix?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Fireboy 37 and J-Way with Decay Jerk. Shout out to you, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Fireboy 37 and J-Way, beat definitely has some good vibes to it, good energy. I would say the sound selection was pretty good. That stomp sound that you added, though, was a little bit too much. Let's go ahead and pull that down a little bit. Have the stomp accent the rest of the beat. It was a little too aggressive. It was like a little bit too much up front. We need to pull it back and allow the stomp to just push the beat forward. Other than that, the main thing that I was noticing is, of course, the loudness. Very loud, very aggressive. Everything totally hacked off. Once again, guys, please, I always tell you guys, every studio, the engineer is going to have this clip gain. So if there needs to be a little more loudness, they'll just push it up. If it's too quiet, just they'll know how to push it up and work with the artist from there. So guys, you don't have to smash your beat. I'm not even at 0 yet. Look at that. Not at 0. Now I'm at 0. So let's give ourselves some breathing room. Let the beat move. Let the 808s move. I know you guys like that distorted sound, but you're starting to degrade the ingredients of your beats. And it might sound cool in your studio, but when it's played on bigger speakers and better, more expensive equipment, it's just not going to translate. And then if you're in that scenario, you're going to notice other producer stuff just tends to fill up the room as opposed to sounds that are just super distorted. So dial things back, let it breathe. Once again, loudness can be added later. Other than that, the loudness, the stomping sound, I thought everything else was pretty much there. It's just that aggressiveness of the loudness is just a little bit, it's a bit much. But let me Let me check out something else here in the beat. Let's see. Yeah, you had a good bounce, everything like that. Everything is good. Just watch the loudness. All right. All right. So shout out to you, Fireboy and J-Way. All right, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we have JVN World with JVN Edible. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was JVN World with Edible. Let that one play a little too long. My bad. All right. So, JVN World. On a couple of our previous shows, I mentioned that you were in the process of crafting this simple sound that's just totally artist friendly. And a couple of shows after that, you know, we had a couple submissions where there was dissonant 808s. 808s were out of key. Certain things going on with the melody. Certain things just not flowing musically. But I feel like on this one, we're back on that path that I noticed those several shows ago. So once again, JVN World, keep working on developing this type of sound, keeping it nice and musical and simple. This is like, I'm starting to get your fingerprint if you keep developing this type of sound, JVN World. Dat Real, okay. Shout out to you, Dat Real. Never caught the live. Looks like I'm the one halfway. All right, shout out to you, Dat Real. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for checking out the Heat Check. Definitely appreciate you. So JVN World. So yeah, let's continue working on this simple sound. I was kind of coming up with different melodies, but not really singing with the music, kind of bouncing off the music, like Sean Garrett's songwriting. If you listen to a songwriter like Sean Garrett, kind of go through his music, and you'll see how like him and Bangladesh, their productions together kind of worked. Because Sean Garrett, for one of his interviews, I believe it was R&B Money, he mentioned he doesn't like really like he doesn't like super pretty ultra melodic beats. He likes to be able to kind of do his own thing off the music. So you can even check out some of Sean Garrett's work, look at who he's written for, and listen to the compositions of the beats. Once again, Bangladesh doesn't add a lot of sounds. He has a once again we're coming to a I'm figuring things out as I'm speaking. Bangladesh doesn't put a lot of sounds in his music. I noticed that you're coming up with a simple sound thing. As I was playing this back, I was imitating like how I think Sean Garrett would write to something like this. So JVN World, this is your homework. I want you to listen to Sean Garrett's work, listen to songs he's written, and also more specifically, listen to the songs that he's written and worked with Bangladesh. So do both, what he's done in general and what he's done with Bangladesh, and then kind of listen and incorporate that into your sound, because you definitely have something brewing, you have something developing. I just want you to keep refining it so you could totally nail it down. So shout out to you, JVN World. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have Millie Beats with Chosen. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you bad.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Chosen. Shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Millie Beats, definitely got that classic West Coast vibes. Every time I hear your stuff, the first artist I think of is YG, and everyone in that YG circle who creates that type of West Coast music. No, last time we spoke, I said that beat that you submitted last time on the last episode, last show, I said that was your best beat. And part of that was like the mixing that you did, Millie. This one, the mixing was cool. I think an artist would definitely still rock out with this. But it's like that clap. It's like I wanted that clap to be just blended a little bit better with the rest of the music. That clap kind of stuck out a little bit too much, so kind of watch it. Also, that string sound that you had, it's kind of, it could work. It's kind of off. Like the second note, that. Let's see if I can pull it right there. So. That second note, it's a little off, but it's creating this type of tension. But I still want you to experiment in your DAW if you can. I think it's a little bit flat, so you might have to push it up like a half step. Just experiment with that and see if it just sounds more musical. because we could leave it where it is. It's okay. It creates a certain type of tension, but let's try pushing it up and see if we can make it just blend better. Just A and B it. Which one just sounds and feels better to you? Um, Other than that, yeah. Um, I like the drum bounce. I like the drum groove. I like what you did with the 808s, that kick in the 808s. I can like hear your confidence. I can hear that you're getting more confident experimenting there instead of playing it totally safe. We got a little bit of, challenging of what we normally get for you here on the Heat Check. So, yeah, Millie Beats, keep it up. Just implement those tips. Get this beat a little bit better, and I think we'll be good to go. So just implement those steps and be good to go. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Oh, what's going on? We got Millie Beats in the building. Man, y'all be sneaking up on me. My show, I'm like, be chatting with a few people. Then as soon as it comes to y'all be like, oh, I'm here. I'm like, where you been? How y'all know? Oh, I think y'all be looking at the list up here. That's what y'all be doing. Y'all be looking at the list, looking for your names. I caught on to y'all. But yeah, shout out to you, Millie Beast. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, now let's play your second submission of the night with Scalade. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you bad.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the second submission today of Millie Beats. That one is called Scalade. All right, shout out to you, Millie Beats. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, now, Millie Beats. That beat, I can hear an artist, definitely hear an artist getting on that one. A couple things here. One, that little hi-hat roll thing you did, that thing, you can either pull down the volume of that. It's just a bit distracting. You could pull it down volume wise, or totally mute it. Just figure out which one would work best. I'm thinking we're gonna totally mute it, but just figure out what we're gonna do with that. Two, another thing I'm noticing with your production is I'm glad that you have a lot of space. Those YG West Coast type beats, they tend to have a lot of space and things like that. The thing is, sometimes it's like I feel like I hear your beat building up to like a more powerful hook, and then you go even simpler, which some artists might like, but then some artists might want you to go in and just like, you don't even have to add a bunch of sounds, just like kind of giving us a nice hook to turn up to, and then after the hook is done, then going back simple, because it's like we go from simple to super simple to back simple. So I just want you to experiment a little bit, because I'm noticing that, you know. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that, and you'll be good to go. Let me see here. Anything else about this beat? Let's see here. No, I think we're all good. Just experiment with adding more energy to the hook. So shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, we have Voteezy, the one and only Voteezy with Closed Casket. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Voteezy with Closed Casket. Shout out to you, Voteezy. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Now, Voteezy, of course, good beat, good bounce, had that nice classic South, you know what I mean? You know, bumping the music with the heavy speakers, the 15s in the back. Definitely give me those vibes, you know what I mean? Now Voteezy, the thing is, you had some nice instrumentation going, and it was nice and active. So you had a lot, things were going, the music was moving, and then you also had the 808 pattern moving as well, and doom 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 doom. So you had the 808 pattern going, and it was moving like up and down as well, which is really impressive to producers. We really like hearing stuff like that. The thing is, for recording artists, this is the thing. This is the mindset I'm in. I wouldn't want to be in a studio session and then I play that beat, then the artist is like, next. And I'm like, my producer brain is like, that was a fire beat. Why would you say next? But then the artist is thinking, okay, how can I really jump into that beat when I kind of feel like I'm kind of moving around trying to find my jump in and find my pocket. So I would just say, Voteezy, consider making just not doing so much with the 808 pattern, just letting the 808s, do what they need to do. We don't doom 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 doom. Like, I like hearing that, and I'm sure a lot of people in the chat like hearing that as well. But when it comes to recording artists, their brain, I wouldn't want this beat to get passed up. So let's keep the 808s, you know, right there. Let's not do too much with the 808 pattern, the 808 going up octaves and whatnot. Just keep it simple. Don't do too much. The instruments are already moving enough. Let's keep the 808 patterns relatively basic, because even here, when the beat broke down, I believe it was around here. What am I thinking of? Where was that part? This right here. Like the simplicity. So sometimes a way to look at it is, if the instrumentation is busy, kind of has a lot of different stuff going on, a lot of music going on, you can consider keeping the 808 pattern a little more simple. And if you have the instrumentation really simple, then you can start to consider allowing the bass to move and do some tricks. So that way there's one part has some simplicity to it, the other part is a little busier, and you could just swap every now and then. Sometimes you want the instrumentation to be busier and the 808s to be more simpler, just a nice bounce. Sometimes you want the melody to be simpler. Now you have the freedom to have the 808s bounce around, doom, 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 you know, and go a little bit crazy. So, you know, just consider that with the 808 pattern, and you'll be all good to go. And, you know, as a producer, we might feel like, oh, I want to go a little crazier, but you want to get these to artists, let's simplify the 808 pattern. But shout out to you, Voteezy. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, moving forward, we have another submission by Voteezy. This one is called FRT. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Sorry about that. Let's start from the top. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Voteezy with FRT. Shout out to you, Voteezy, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Shout out to you. All right. Now, FRT and the other one definitely had its similarities to it a little bit, instrumentation-wise or whatnot. And this is the thing that I'm starting to notice of Voteezy. It's like like Volteezy, I wouldn't be surprised if you've entered beat battles, if you've won beat battles. Remember, you've won a prize in the past when I had my 1 year anniversary show. You were one of the winners. So you're good at making beats and making beats that producers like. We like it. I like it. Um, the thing is, Volteezy, I want you to keep in mind and like try to freestyle out loud. Try to hum out loud. Cause the thing is, it's like so. It's a quick story. One time, I was with a friend of mine, right, and he was just freestyling. He had pulled up a bunch of different beats. This was way back in the day, the SoundClick days. I think I was like setting up my website or whatever, and he was playing different beats out loud. And then he was freestyling, played a different beat. Then he played a beat by a very popular producer on SoundClick. Um, and then we both looked at each other like, this beat is fire. Then he was like, yeah, this beat is crazy. Then he was like, I really kind of don't know what to do. I can't really freestyle on it, but the beat is fire, you know? So that's the thing that I don't want you to get there and like be pigeonholed as the super fire producer who's like so talented that, which almost sounds like an oxymoron, who is so talented that producers just like listening to your instrumentals. I know, Volteezy, your goal is to produce for recording artists and whatnot. So the thing is, like when you're listening back to your stuff, Volteezy, always freestyle out loud and see how you can simplify certain things. Because the 808 pattern is good, the instruments are good, but I'm wondering if you're so skilled musically that you can get in the way of the skill of the recording artist wanting to find a lane on your music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to be in the studio, Volteezy, and crush 5 other producers, and then you play your beat. You're like, man, my beat is way better than those guys. Then you look over at the artist, and he picks one of the beats that you, as a producer, Volteezy, you know, like, I'm way better than those guys. Why did you pick that beat? You know? And that's because what could happen and what may happen, which I don't want you to be in this scenario, but I've seen this, like things like this happen before, is your beat is so good that the artist doesn't find a pocket. They don't find a path. And another producer plays a beat that's much simpler, which is a decent beat, pretty solid beat, and the artist instantly sees a clear path on that music. They're like, ooh, I can think of a hook, I can think of a verse, I can think of ad-libs. I know my homegirl who can sing backgrounds on it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to get in that lane. So with your productions, consider from time to time simplifying the drum the 808 pattern. Listen, when you listen back to the instrumentation of your music, could I mute a sound or two here and there? Will that take away from anything? And if you mute a sound and you freestyle out loud, do you feel like you're missing anything? So it's gonna be a little bit of trial and error there, and a little bit of feeling like I don't want to say dumbing yourself down, but simplifying in a way to make the music a more clear path for the recording artist. So, because producers, we can listen to your stuff all day, pat you on the back, tell you how sick you are, tell you how much we love your 808s and stuff, but you know, for the artist, I want a clearer path for them, and having what you do support what they do. So hopefully that makes sense. So shout out to you, Volteezy. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, that real true seems like the beat is battle geared towards what a producer would like, i.e., judge other producers. Yeah, true. That real. So that's funny, Volteezy, because some people are like, man, I want to be more talented. Now, Volteezy, people are like, man, you're too talented. Leave some room for the artist. So shout out to you, Volteezy. Shout out to you, man. So, all right, moving forward, we have Tafara with Waffle. Tafara, where you been at, man? Tafara been out there on the grind. believe Tafara is a musician as well. He's probably out there doing gigs, doing the big. All right, we're gonna go ahead and play Tafara Waffle. I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tafara with Waffle. Shout out to you, Tafara, and thanks so much for submitting on the Heat Check, and welcome back. We definitely appreciate hearing your music here on the show. All right. So, Tafara, great beat, great groove. You already know. Great, music. That music makes me want to move. That's what I like about the Heat Check. We get so much variety. That beat makes me want to get up and dance. Get up and move. We just get all kinds of different energies here on the show. Tafara, one thing I did notice about this beat is the bass that you used, the main bass, that sub bass, was a bit loud. It just was a bit loud, a little bit present, a little bit too present. So what I would like to do to this bass is, if you have like a saturator, if you have like Fab Filter, you have my FL Studio Patcher plugin D-Bass, and they all have little saturators, little distortion. I want to pull the volume of this nice clean sub bass down, and I want to add a little bit of saturation. So it's not going to be as loud. It's going to be a little bit lower volume wise, but the saturation is going to make it cut through the mix a bit more. That's kind of the texture of a lot of modern music, modern mixing, because of things like the Spins 808 and us listening to music on our mobile devices. That clean sub is good, but let's try adding a little bit of saturation to it. Lower the volume, add saturation to it, and it should just create this nice little pocket with the rest of the music. Also, there was a part here when you went to the Amapiano, and it kind of felt like the basses were fighting for presence. Is it the sub bass that wants to win? Is it the Amapiano that wants to win? The Amapiano bass, who's gonna win? And it felt like a bit of a tightness. Things are getting tight in that low end, and our ears, maybe even our bodies, might not quite know how to move to it. So we have to decide, do we want to mute the sub bass and then switch to the Amapiano, so it's like a nice little break, and then go back to the sub bass? Or do we want to just mute that Amapiano bass and then just have the sub bass the whole way through? And that's really going to be a judgment call. So just decide which one you want to do. But doing both is creating almost like a bit, almost a conflict. It's not clashing totally, but it's like kind of getting close to being a bit too stuffed right there on the low end. So yeah, once you do those two things, you'll be good to go. You know, continue to get out there, continue to grind. Make sure you're hitting up different artists, or one of the easiest things, just post your type beats on YouTube if you want to just kind of passively get your sound out there. Thames type beat, Burna Boy type beat, WizKid type beat. Put your email up, and you know, you never know who might come knocking at your door one day. You never know. So put yourself out there, and you never know who might pop up. You could be shocked. So shout out to you. Shout out to you, Tafara. Thanks so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Oh, Tafara's right here in the building. Shout out to you. All right, Tafara, thanks. I've been busy with school, master's program. First B, I could not finish in time. Oh, he has Fab Filter. Okay. And my piano part is not Chris. Okay. All right. So shout out to you, Tafara, right here in the chat. See, this is what I mean. You guys just pop up out the blue. Now, did I just get, before I move on to your next beat, I just want to see. Did I get another VIP? Sometimes you guys get VIP. Okay, no, that was an old notification. So, okay, so we're good to go. Right, yes, we're good to go. All right, second submission today from Tafara. This one is called Like a Friend. All right, let's just go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tafara with Like a Friend. Shout out to you, Tafara. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Tafara, man, another good, smooth vibe. I'm thinking that could even be like a Chris Brown type beat, Chris Brown Afro beat type beat. You could throw that up on the YouTube channel and see what could come up. See who pops up one day in your email or your BeatStars or whatever. That said, again, I like the bass. The sub bass is good. I don't think this one would really need, the texture of it doesn't really need any type of saturation. I think let's just pull it down just a tad bit, just a taste. It just feels a little overwhelming. Just pull it down just a taste and you'll be all good to go. It's gonna fit with the rest of the music a little bit better, and then you'll be perfect, man. Yeah, the only thing that needs is a songwriter. So get a songwriter on it, you'll be good to go, and sky's the limit. Either just post it as YouTube type beat, or if you have time, look for different songwriters and then see what might pop up. So yes, shout out to you, Tafara, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was a full night. We're almost going on 3 hours with the submissions, man. So yes, I am very grateful to you guys. Guys, once again, if you have not checked out the Juke Wong episode of the Made in the Studio podcast, check that out, man. The young man got a lot of good game, a lot of good information for you guys. He co-produced Push and P, produced for Playboy Cardi, Future, pretty much all the hot popular people you guys we all like. So check out that episode. It's all good, clever, and you're welcome, Tafara. So guys, once again, next Friday there will not be a show. I am moving around. I am traveling. The following Friday we should have a show, but I will keep you guys up to date on my YouTube community posts, my Discord, and also via email. You guys know that I always communicate with you guys, so I will keep you informed. So guys, keep cooking up the music. If I don't see you the Friday after next, then I'll see you the Friday after that. So we'll have another nice full show. And in the meantime, check out all the good stuff on my YouTube channel, all the tips, the tricks, the podcasts, everything that you need. And once again, you need more help, book a one-on-one coaching call. I'll jump on Zoom, help you guys out, and that's in the description. I appreciate that real. Yeah, this has been a fire show, man. It's going almost 3 hours, man. Didn't even take a bathroom break, man. That's how locked in I am with you guys. So, man, I love you guys. So I show up, every Friday, mostly pretty much every Friday, except when I have to move around. So, yes, guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys soon. Stay tuned in to my YouTube channel for more gems, everything like that. I will see you guys soon. Y'all be safe out there. I see you.